Hello? Okay. Good morning, Kailash ji. Good morning, Secretary Sir. And good morning, all the team members of PBA, all the officers, principals, teachers, and students. Happy to have Sri Kailash ji with us today. Sir, we are fortunate to listen to you and draw inspiration from your life and works, especially our teachers and students, sir. Sir, hope to have more association in future with you, sir. Welcome, sir. George, please introduce ourselves.
Thank you, Sharada ma'am, and good morning to good morning, Kailash ji. Good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings from Social Welfare Residential School Society, and whole lot of principals, teachers, and students. I know you wanted to have students with us, so there is a little bit of disturbance. We apologize for that, but you know you are very close to children, so that's the reason why you have asked us to join the children. So there's a little bit of disturbance. So let me introduce our secretary, sir. Our secretary, Sri Ronald Rose, IAS. Sir, secretary, sir, can we have sir on live, sir?
Yes, George, I'm very much here. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. And we are so happy to have Sri Kailash Satyarthi ji, Nobel Prize laureate for 2014. And Kailash ji, Sri Ronald Rose is our secretary.
Okay.
He is the secretary to finance government of Telangana. He holds full additional charge of our Telangana Social Welfare Residential Institution Society. A man with a passion. He has done a lot of work, especially in the rural Telangana. Now he is so fortunate to, he has taken just charge maybe a week, 3-4 days ago, sir. Now we are so fortunate to work under Sri Ronald. Sir, Ronald ji, sir, Kailash Satyarthi ji, you can say hi to them and you can exchange some pleasantries, sir. This is the time.
Hello, Kailash ji. This is Ronald here. How are you doing?
Good. Wonderful.
So to have you. We have heard so much about you. I'm very, very happy that you have consented to address the inaugural session of these awakening talks. To all the family of all the teachers, students, and some of the parents also I can see who are attending, who are waiting to listen to your talk. We are very, very happy. As you know, I think Mr. George will explain to you the concept of these awakening talks, why we are conducting this. As you know about these institutions, this tribal welfare as well as social welfare institutions, some 372 residential institutions are running in the state of Telangana. About 2 lakh children are studying in these residential institutions. And we hope that by way of interacting with people like you, and they'll get inspired and they can develop their skill sets, their leadership things. And it also opens up a lot of possibilities. It widens their horizon in their thinking as well. So we all look forward to hear you, Mr. Kailash. So I'm very happy to have you. Really, really happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the words of introduction. That is a very good tone. I think it's a very good tone. We can start the program. Let me briefly introduce the topic, the awakening talks. Sir, awakening talk is an effort to spark inspiration among our students, teachers, our school leaders, and officers of societies, both tribal welfare and social welfare and other organizations. And today we have, this is also streamlined on YouTube and Facebook. I think more than 1,000 people are watching us. And we are so fortunate to have you, as our secretary rightly put it. We are so fortunate, sir. As we said, we are trying to take our children to the next level, 21st century skills. We are trying with academics and scholastic and co-scholastic activities. Then we thought people like you, if addressed by our children, they will have a different perspective. So also our teachers, as we always believe, teachers are the builders of the nation, and we are going to build a new generation. And your work and your life will surely inspire us, sir. And this awakening talk happens every fortnight. And we hope to have luminaries from different walks of life. And you are going to set the right tone, sir, by consenting to be the inaugural speaker. So I request you, sir, to talk to us regarding your life and your journey. How did all this start? I'm sure that our people are waiting. And before that, kindly allow me to introduce you to the audience. You don't require an introduction, sir, but I'm sure that, let me just formally introduce you. Sri Kailashji is a Nobel laureate 2014, and he's a crusader against child labor and a strong advocate of universal right to education. He's the founder of social activist organizations like Bachpan Bachao Andolan, Global March Against Child Labor, Global Campaign for Education and Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation. His foundation, Bachpan Bachao Andolan, have liberated more than 90,000 children in India from child labor, slavery, and trafficking. In 1998, Sri Kailashji led the Global March Against Child Labor, covering 80,000 kilometers across 133 countries, to put forth a global demand against child labor. He has received more than 25 awards and honors, besides being the subject of documentaries, television series, talk shows, advocacy, and awareness films. His life mission is to provide others with a dignified life. So we are really, really fortunate to have you among us today to set the right tone. And we are also happy to have our secretary, because this is the first ever series of talk. So these two important persons are with us. That makes us so happy and so privileged, sir. Over to you, sir. Kailashji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear George. And thanks to Brother Roland and Sister Sharda and all of you, my dear children. George, you said that there was some disturbance due to children. I would be even happy if the children would have been jumping and dancing and chanting and shouting, because they have tremendous energy. And their energy, my dear children, your energy is purer energy. Your power is more sacred power. Your voice is much more authentic voice. So if they chant, or if they loudly speak, or they disturb, perhaps I am the first person to be extremely happy and pleased to see children as children. Unfortunately, we made a mistake for ages that we keep on imposing ourselves and teaching our children. And you might be surprised that why I'm saying that we made a mistake by teaching our children. What we taught them? We taught them that they are Hindus, they are Muslims, they are Christians. We taught them identities which are divisive, which divided humanity. We are bound to teach them that you are Africans, you are Indian, you are Pakistani, you are Nepali, you are American, you are European. Children have never created these boundaries and these nations and nationalities. But since they are born in a particular part of land, we teach them like that. We teach them that they are high caste Brahmins, they are low caste, scheduled caste, Dalits, they are Adivasis, they are Muslims, they are this and that. So I'm saying this right at the outset, that it would have been better to learn from children. When a child is born as a human being, just as a human being. If we have to learn something from them, we have to learn to be a human being. instead of being Hindus or Muslims or Pakistanis or Indians or whatever, scheduled caste, high caste. Let us learn to be human being from our children. And what we can learn the truth. We can learn transparency. We can learn to be honest. We can learn to forgive others. Children fight with each other and they forget. But when we fight with one another, then we hardly can forgive and forget those things. So, dear friends, this was not the part of my speech, but I begin with that. But I wanted to begin with something very special, that I am sitting with those who are golden girls, silver girls, golden boys, silver boys. When I was reading about you, my dear young friends like Nandini, wow, 4 gold medals and 1 silver medal. If you are here, I would like to applause here. And I have learned about this year actually, Pranay. Pranay has won a gold medal. And that is amazing. What great athletes you are going to create and creating in your organizations, your programs and projects. That is really amazing. So Anjali and Nikita, Parvati and Anitha, I keep on talking several names. If you are there, that's great. If you are not there, even then, you will learn that I have been admiring and saying bravo, my dear daughters, my dear sons. I've also learned that for the first time in the history, 80 students from TSW REIS have been able to secure their seats in IITs and NITs. Wow. I tell you that I had a dream when I was a child that I should go to IIT, but it was very expensive and IITs were not there around in my hometown or nearby towns. And then you have to compete through different tests and exams. Because I wanted to become an engineer, that I became. So I did my engineering from my hometown, from my state university. And then I taught in the university for about a year and a half. But I'm so proud that 80 of you are going to join IITs and NITs. Similarly, doctors. Wow. 24 of you have secured your seat in medicine, MBBS. So what Telangana is going to do? Telangana is going to represent and lead in next Olympics, it seems. Telangana is going to lead in medicines. And if something like this, what has happened recently and what we are going through, this pandemic, if something like this comes, perhaps young friends coming from Adivasi background, coming from those families which are so humble families, masons, workers, tailors, BD workers, small farmers, agriculture laborers, roadside sellers, vegetable vendors. Your parents, your fathers are like that, and you are going to take the charge in the future. So we are all proud of you. And this is not something which is a kind of imaginary story or just inspirational story. You are stories of inspiration in yourself. Each one of you is a story of motivation in yourself. Each one of you is a change, a leader, a champion. Some of you got the medals, some of you got the recognitions, but it does not mean that rest of you are not there, because you belong to the same community of bright, passionate, intelligent young people through your organizations. and your residential centers. And teachers, I would like to congratulate all those teachers and officers who are involved in this endeavor. Because when somebody wanted to see the competence and the dedication of a teacher, one has to look at his students. So if students are achieving so much, it means the teachers and officers might have dedicated and did every possible thing, hard work and with passion and sense of leadership and so on. Then I have learned that the teachers have initiated Manuburike Managurukulam, and whosoever has done it, I would like to congratulate you all. Shardaji is smiling, George is smiling, and there are two Shardas, in fact. Two Shardas. Another Sharda is also smiling. And that smile speaks voluminous, because that smile is the smile of your love for children, of your accomplishment for children. This smile is a reflection of your contribution to building Telangana and building this nation and building a better humanity. So I congratulate you. And another thing, this village learning circles. The young people themselves started village learning circles. I know that you are recording it, and that is going to say that the Nobel laureate has said these things about you, but I'm not meager in saying those things. If my sisters, my brothers, my children, my daughters and sons are doing such great work, so I would definitely congratulate and applaud you for this great work. So George, my speech is over now, because you said that I have to talk about the inspiration, and since there are so many stories around of inspiration and motivation, I did my job today, isn't it? No, not yet. You wanted to listen something about me, and you both of you said that it's a privilege, or it's very important that a Nobel laureate with 24 or 25 awards and prizes and so on is addressing you for the first time. But my dear young children, my friends, young friends I would call, I see that some of are in 10th grade, 9th grade, 11th grade, something like that. So I will share with you a story of Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein, no, I will tell you later on in Albert Einstein. But I'll tell you another story of a Nobel person. So one day, a journalist was driving in the countryside, and he noticed that there was a gentleman, barefooted, no proper clothing, was standing in an open field under the hot sun. And the curious journalist slowed down his car and kept on looking at this man. He was still standing and looking at the sun. He thought that something has gone wrong with him. So he stopped the car and went back, asked this gentleman, "Sir, what are you doing?" He said, "Don't disturb me. I'm busy with some important work." Okay. After 5 minutes, he asked again, "What are you doing?" He said that, "Please, I told you that I am doing something important. I'm waiting for something." Then after 15 minutes or so, this journalist became impatient, because journalists are always journalists. They wanted to dig deep. So he asked, "Sir, may I ask now? I'm watching you for 15, 20 minutes. What are you up to? What are you doing?" He said, "Mister, I read in my childhood that there was a prize named Nobel Prize. And I also read that those who are outstanding in their fields, they can become the Nobel laureates. So look at me. I'm standing out in my field. So I'm outstanding in my field, and one day I can become a Nobel laureate. So Nobel laureates are not special people. They are like him, that they are outstanding in their field and waiting for the Nobel Prize under the open sky and hot sun. So it's a joke. But you need not to think that Kailash Satyarthi is something special. I'm your friend. So I said that, my young friends. And that is the reason I told my office might have informed George to invite some young friends also. So that's good. Thank you. I would like to share a few things which I learned, which I can say with some sense of conviction. And I always try to avoid to say those things which I don't deeply convinced and believe and convicted. I try to avoid to say anything which I don't follow in my life. Never. And I don't speak on those subjects which are not really known to me. I can humbly say that, sorry, this is not my subject. But even then, if I have some knowledge, I can share with you. So, 3 things. You might have heard of 3D. 3D in several years ago, when George and Sharda and I was comparatively young. We are still young, but comparatively young, 20, 25 years ago. Suddenly a new technology was invented, 3D cinema. We used to rush to cinema houses with the goggles sometimes, don't tell our parents, and because sometimes parents say cinema is bad thing, don't go to cinema, so we have to wear those glasses and special goggles and so on. And then you can see that somebody is attacking you, and it comes so close that you feel frightened and so on. 3D. Now you can find 3D in many apparatus, and that has become the old technology. But I'm not talking about that technology. I'm talking about different 3Ds. My first D is dream. Since we are born as human beings and we have capacity to dream, we have opportunity to dream, then we must dream big. We must dream bigger. We must dream biggest. Every child should have a dream. You should have dream, my young friends. Without dream, you would be pushed. Sometimes you would flow or fly in the wind. But if you have a clear dream, what you wanted to achieve in your life, then you can follow that dream. But the beginning begins with the first D, that is dream. But if you dream for yourself, you can become a rich person, you can become a so-called successful person, you can become a Nobel laureate, you can become like Brother Roland or Brother George or whatever. But why you dream to become only an IAS officer with a secretary? Why don't you dream to become the cabinet secretary? Why don't you try to dream to become the president of India or the prime minister of India? If you start dreaming, dream the biggest. And when you chase it, you can learn with other things. I am coming to that. Then you can set your goals. That in 5 years' time, you can achieve this. In 10 years' time, you can achieve that much. And 20 years' time, you can achieve that much. But that is not enough, dear friends. More important is that dream big, but dream for the betterment of your neighborhood, betterment of your district, your state, your nation, and eventually the entire humanity. Those who dream for themselves, they can be called rich, richest perhaps. They can become prime ministers or presidents. But when you dream for the betterment of humanity, then you write the script, the golden pages, script of golden history of humankind. So many people had dreams, and we are facing so many problems. The problems of climate crisis, climate change. Those who had big dreams, they were able to develop a world in such a way that we don't have clean air around us. I live in Delhi. Nowadays, it's okay. But when the winter comes, then we cannot even breathe properly. If our breath is in danger, it was also the result of dream of some people and their achievements. They did not dream for everyone. They did not dream for all. They did not dream for the betterment of entire population in humanity. Perhaps they dreamed for themselves. So dream for the betterment of everyone. And when you start dreaming for all, then your whole life changes. Then you feel different kind of relationship with your friends, with your colleagues, with your peers, with your teachers, with your mothers, fathers, everyone. Because then you have to walk together with everyone. You cannot leave anyone behind. You cannot push anyone behind because you are bound to live in the age of competition. And sometimes the competitions are so cruel, so inhuman that you start dreaming at the cost of others' betterment for your own achievements. And that is a big, big mistake which we are making in this age of so-called career making and so-called competitive world and so on. You can still think of being competitive. Some days ago, when this Corona began, then some students, perhaps some of you know that my organization have 3 centers, 1 for girls and 2 for boys. They are rehabilitation, education, and leadership building center for freed child slaves and child laborers. So about 100 children stay with us in a center near Jaipur. And when people started falling sick, and there was a call that everybody should wear the mask, keep distance and so on, all these basic protocols. Our children learn that in the neighborhood, nobody has this idea. And unfortunately, there were not enough face masks. So a few children were learning tailoring. And they have offered, they went to their teachers. It was not the teachers who told them, but the children themselves. Children means adults and people of your age, my young friends. So they said that, sir, we wanted to offer our skills and we can stitch marks from the old pieces or new pieces. We can wash them, clean them, and we can make masks for those villagers, nearby villagers. They started stitching. Other young people also got very passionate about it, and they started learning. They were not learning sewing, tailoring, but they started stitching. And within few months, almost 18,000 masks were produced by these children and distributed in all villages around. Because in the villages, there were no mask shops. One has to go to Jaipur to bring, or to other places. That was the compassion. That was the initiative. That was the leadership, because these children who were enslaved, who were trafficked, who were abused sexually, mentally, physically, who were separated away from their parents for years, and then with the help of my colleagues, they were liberated and they were now in ashram. Their contribution to the villages is much more bigger contribution than any politician, any philanthropist. Because they were working day in and day out, 16, 18 hours a day to stitch with hands, because we didn't have enough machines for all those children, tailoring machines, sewing machines, but they did it. So if you learn, my dear friends, to dream for everyone, then your relationship is different. So dream big and dream for betterment of humanity. You are the children of God. You are the children of God. You are born with something very special. Each one of you are born with something very special. And that's why all religions, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, taught to respect each other and to be compassionate to each other. So that is first D. My second D is discover. Discover the power inside you. As I said, that we are the children of same Creator. Even if we don't believe in God, but we are one race, human race. And this human race has something special than others. So we have to discover the inner power. Our brain has tremendous power. Our heart has tremendous power. Our soul is so powerful. But that power we forget, because neither we have the purpose of our life, we don't discover our purpose, we don't discover our power, we don't discover our path. We keep on fighting with each other, but also sometimes we are confined to the smaller things which are taught to us, and that is the complacency which is, which is transferred from generations to generations and generations. We have to rise above that. I tell you that when the first day I went to my school, I encountered a situation where a boy my age, 5-6-year-old boy, cobbler boy, sitting outside and looking at us for some job. And that has disturbed me. I looked at him. And when I entered in my classroom, the first day I asked my teacher, the first question in my life to my teacher, I asked, "Sir, why a child is sitting outside and not with the rest of us in our classroom?" My school was not a very expensive so-called public, but private school. It was a local municipal school. I come from a very modest background. My father was a policeman who died when I was young. So my mother had to take care of so many things and my elder brothers. But when I saw that boy and I asked my teacher told, "Kailash, you are naive, it's good, but you don't know that these poor children have to work for their livelihood. So this is not new thing, that is not uncommon," he said. And the same answer was given by many people, including my mother, my brothers, my parents, and my friends. "Oh, forget it. But every morning and afternoon, I used to look at that boy." And that made me angry slowly. That anger was not the anger born out of hate or revenge. That anger was against injustice, something wrong. I started feeling that something was wrong. Why all of us go to school and this boy is sitting outside? So one day I asked the father of that boy and the boy, they were sitting side by side. Boy was shy, but the father said with folded hands, "Babuji, मैंने कभी ये सोचा नहीं. I never thought about it. मेरे बाप दादा मैं सब बचपन से यही काम करते थे, जूता सुधारने का, और अब मेरा बेटा कर रहा है. कोई नई बात नहीं. हम तो फिर." Then he said that his father, grandfather, and he started working since childhood, and so is his son. Then he said one thing with folded hands, because he thought that I belong to high caste. Naturally, most of the high caste people used to go. That was about 60 years ago, that incident. So he said, "बाबूजी, स्कूल जाने के लिए तो आप लोग हैं, हम तो यही काम करने के लिए पैदा हुए. You are born to go to school, but we are born to work, he said. And I had no answer. I had no understanding. So I started crying. I was weeping. I could not say, because everybody is saying that it was not uncommon. That was the complacency of it I'm talking about. But I started thinking that whatever my mother says, whatever my brother said, whatever the teacher says, they are great people and they are trying to make me a good man, good human being. They are thinking of my best interest. But the injustices, the complacency, which is prevailing around us in our society has to be challenged. Everybody is born with independence, independent mind. We should not keep this independent mind in the hands of others. Others, how long others will keep on driving us? Sometimes we have to sit on the driving seat. We have to feel that we will sit on the driving seat. It does not mean that we are going to leave others behind. When we sit on the driving seat, we have to keep everyone with us and see that everybody can learn and drive. So I started challenging these things in my mind at the age of 5 or 6. Wrong is always wrong. If I am going to school, why not that child? That was my first spark. And that has taught me that when you dream together. When you discover the power together. Today, people say that Kailash-ji is India's firstborn Nobel Peace Laureate and blah, blah, blah. But it was not possible because I was a politician, or I was a guru, or I was something, preacher. I was able to believe my colleagues, my companions, my workers, my wife, my friends, my activists. And that trust was so deep that I knew that we are here at this juncture where freedom will become non-negotiable, where childhood will become non-negotiable. Nobody can snatch away the freedom and childhood from our children. That belief was not just Kailash Satyarthi's belief. That belief was the belief and trust of everyone who worked with me. When I gave up my career as electrical engineer and others started coming with us, then we built that. So togetherness in discovering also the power. So your inner power, personal power, but the power of your neighborhood, the power of your nation. India has tremendous power, the values, our DNA, our culture, our heritage, our traditions, not traditions like caste system, like untouchability, not like this. I'm talking about the tradition to respect each other, tradition to be grateful to each other, tradition to be grateful to living beings and non-living beings. We worship land. Most of the people, most of Adivasis, I work with several Adivasi groups, tribal groups across more than 100 countries. They are called indigenous people in some places and the Indian in some places, but one way or other, the Adivasis, either they are living there or they are migrated to those places. So with several groups, and I know their power and purity, and that goes in their DNA for ages, for centuries, and so on. So, dear friends, discover the power, and secondly, discover the opportunities outside. You have so many schemes. Ronald Rose might be coming with, he's a young man, I can see his face, so he's here with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of excitement and a lot of new things to do. He's new in his office today. I will see you someday. If you come to Delhi, you're welcome. But if I come to meet Kitty or other friends, then I could, I would love to meet the young IAS officers. So when you are sitting here, then you have many schemes for tribal people, schemes for women, scheme for When I spoke to your political authorities, then sometimes they share that so many good schemes are there. But these schemes should be owned by most common masses, ordinary people, as opportunities to change their life. It is not that the government is putting the schemes, but these schemes should be properly implemented in a transparent manner with the participation of the villagers, where the ordinary villagers can also not only know about their rights and their state schemes, but welfare schemes, but also they should own the success of it. They should be the part of the process to make the success. So it's every level. We have to look for outside opportunities and inner power both collectively. That collectively word is the key in that when I said collectively. No government can change the country. No prime minister can change the country. No president, no chief minister. It is the people, ordinary people. So ordinary people should be empowered not only by the government schemes and programs and constitution and laws, but also through their own initiatives and inner power, self-confidence. And my third D is when you have big dreams and good dreams for everyone, when you have discovered the opportunity outside and inner power, then whom are you waiting for? Especially young friends, whom are you waiting for? You have dream. You know your power and opportunities. Then third D is do. Do is the key. Act. If you act without purpose and without dream, if you act without knowing your power and external opportunities, it won't work. But if you keep on dreaming and don't do anything, if you keep on discovering your power, then better to sit in a cave or in a temple and keep on discovering your inner power. Do dhyana, meditation. But what is the meaning of that meditation and dhyana? I sometimes tell those people who are always seen on television screens, maybe 26 hours a day. There are 24 hours, but if they are given the time, maybe they will show their face for 26 hours. They will do every possible thing and preach you. Good people, some of them. But if they don't teach to act now for the betterment of humanity, the entire world, then it won't work. Then, dear friends, do. So dream, discover, and do. I'm not going to share many things about my life or many stories about my life. Otherwise, Google Baba will become angry. So I'm leaving some work to Google Baba. So you can learn more about the things if you're interested, and also other things like the websites of Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation, Bachpan Bachao Andolan, and my website and Twitter and all kind of media things. So you can use the media also. So dear friends, if you can recall these 3 Ds, I will repeat it, and then I will leave here for some sort of conversation and question answers. So dream, discover, and do. That's all. Thank you. I am done.
Yes, that was something I would say personally. It is a dream come true for the people at the head office here. So thank you very much, sir. And now I think some of our participants have a few questions. Will you be able to take a few questions, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So I request the participants, this is the time for you to ask a few questions to Kailash ji. As he said, a lot of information in the Google Baba. So you can ask him maybe some questions regarding his work or how he got inspired or something like that. So we will take a few questions because due to the interest of time, we'll take only a few questions. If you can quickly write those questions in the chat box, we will see the questions and we can put it across to Kailash ji. Because our host is not allowing you to unmute yourself. So please put your questions in the chat box. Yes. Yes, Satyajit ji, you have a question from one of the participants. What does success mean to you?
Very, very tough question. Success for me, that the people around me can smile in freedom and peace. That is my success.
Okay, thank you, sir. And
so tell me, how many of you are feeling happy and smiling in peace, so that I can feel that, oh yeah, I am successful today.
Yeah, that's the second question coming up, sir. Who inspired you? This is one of the students of class 8.
What is her name or his name?
It just went off. I think she's Sirisha. What is success to you?
Yeah, Sri.
There are hundreds of questions coming up.
Yeah. So that is easy answer,
Yeah.
but very difficult to make people smile in peace, not in other emotions, but in peace. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, there is another student, Satya, class 8. What did you dream when you were young?
Well, right from the beginning, I started dreaming that all children around me should be in school, with this incident which I told at the age of 5 or 6. That has gone so deeper that I started dreaming. And then I started feeling that many of them could not go to school because they are born in a particular section of society. You can call it caste system, because and the 60 years ago the caste hierarchy was so deep and cruel, even today, but those days it was so dirty. So I realized that most of them cannot join schools because they were born in that caste class. So I had to fight against it, and that was another fight, and many other things began. But sometimes this discrimination, social discrimination or cultural discrimination, caste discrimination, gender discrimination becomes the biggest chain, or I would say combination of chains in the minds, in individuals' lives, and in the society. And that discrimination has to be ended.
Sir, there is another question coming from another student. What was your most difficult time? What was your most difficult time in life?
The most difficult time was when I have fallen in love with a very beautiful girl, and her parents said no, and because they thought that this boy, though I was studying in engineering, but they thought that I'm not someone who is who is so disciplined in life, who does not have that kind of orientation for making his career and so on. So they thought that I'm kind of mad boy. So they disagreed, and then one day I got the call from this girl that this was Wednesday or Thursday, and then she called that my father says, because she told her father and mother that if this boy has that power, that gut to come and marry you on Sunday, then we will do it. But I was living in central India, Madhya Pradesh, Vidisha, and she was living in Delhi. She was a journalist. She was the editor of a magazine, sub-editor, and I was still in my final year of engineering. And the caste and so many other things were problems, my family, and dowry and so on. So those 3-4 days were the most difficult days because I had to make several decisions. I had to discover all my inner power. And I immediately told actually that girl that, yes, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to come on Sunday and I will travel all the way to Delhi. And I had no money. I had no job, nothing. So I have to ask my friends. And then finally they said, okay, when you decide to do something, you will do. So let us go and marry. So somehow I had to convince my brothers and so on. And finally, we got married. And she's my wife, Sumedha, and mother of 2 of my brightest children. And she has dedicated all her life for the betterment of children and humanity. And that was our common dream. And she ran this center, which I was talking about, all these rehabilitation programs since the beginning. So she is the mother of millions.
So that was very, very personal and very honest answer. Thank you, sir. I think, and again, we reiterate that behind every successful man, there is a woman. In your case also, it's true.
Yeah, actually, my wife is more successful because many people feel happy, smile, and peaceful. So I feel that I'm successful. She is successful and I am contributing in her success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, being very, very honest, very, very honest. And there is a question from one of our teachers. He asks, according to you, what is the essential quality of a teacher? Because, we deal with a lot of teachers. So he's asking, what's the essential quality of a teacher? Naveen, the name of the teacher is Naveen.
I was also a teacher. As I said, that I started teaching in the university. And I felt that teacher is like a matchstick. Matchstick has tremendous fire inside, tremendous fire. So matchstick has to prepare herself to sacrifice, to burn, to ignite fire, light, heat, and give light and heat to the world. So the first spark of light is a teacher. And that first spark should be prepared to sacrifice itself. And that is not an easy thing. Teaching is not a career. Teaching is enlightening the dormant potential, sleeping potential, but potential which is inside every child. And every child, as I said before, is born with enormous possibilities and potential, enormous power. But teacher is the first spark to ignite that power and potential.
Thank you, sir. And there is another question. Again, this is a student from class 10th. She's asking, sir, what is your greatest strength and what is your greatest weakness? So she wants to know both.
My greatest strength is that, what is her name or his name?
Sahiti.
Saini, my strength is that I can learn from you and I love you. And I love you all. Love is my biggest strength. And I love everyone. It's very difficult for me to not love anyone. So that could be my strength. But that is also the weakness in a way that when I started loving everyone, then sometimes people cheat me. Sometimes a lot of my time is wasted. So I am not really very good in keeping my time schedule. So sometimes when I talk, I can talk more. Sometimes I talk less. Sometimes I keep on doing for 24 hours, sometimes only for 1 hour. So it depends. But I'm not a good timekeeper for myself. That is my weakness.
It's a very, very interesting question, sir. I think, I wanted to tell you this. It's a very interesting question. Sir, were you a backbencher or a front bencher? I don't know how this child got this nomenclature, this word. Are you a first bencher or a backbencher? I'm sure the teacher might have told her something like that.
Well, now you cannot see me, but I'm sitting on a chair. So, not on the bench. But I would always love, as I said before, that these benches should be put in such a way that everybody can sit together and nobody has to be pushed into the back seat, or nobody should be brought into the front seat. It's a matter of just inculcating and then digging out that potential of everyone, because everybody was born with equal potential, I guess. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, it is like that. But in my school, I tell you that I was always one of the toppers, or the topper, in my primary and secondary schools. Then during engineering college, I was, you can call me big backbencher, because then I got involved in so many social activities, and then student, I would say not politics in a such activism. Those days when there were a lot of student movements in 75, 76, so I got involved in it. So you can call that those days I had to sit in the back, because sometimes I was absent, and if I just sneak inside the classroom, then I have to sit in the back.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll take a short break, and there are a lot of requests from our students to say hi to Ronald, sir. Ronald, sir, please say hi to us. This is a message of one of the students. Just a second, Kailash ji and Ronald, sir, will say hi to them.
I can begin. Hi, Ronald.
So there are a lot of questions.
My dear teachers and students, we will interact later. Now let Mr. Satyarthi ji.
Yeah, because they have seen the new secretary, so they are so excited as well seeing Kailash ji. So equally excited they are. So they could not control their happiness, and they say they are getting a lot of requests like say hi to Ronald sir, and things like that. So as sir said, students, we'll have a lot of time to interact with us, sir. So today is a day for our chief guest, Shri Kailash ji. So let us ask questions. So there is one more question, sir, coming up. One more the students. How do we keep motivating ourselves? How do we keep motivating ourselves?
Ronald sir, do you have a beard? Black beard? Ronald sir?
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Very personal question.
so I can see you. So as I said, that I'm big opponent against caste system. But this is the caste actually. I am also having the beard, but this.
He always sports a French beard.
Yeah.
Yes. He always sports a Benji beard.
That's why, like a child, I was asking Ronald sir, do you have a beard? But anyway, so my answer of this question that, well, there is always a reason to celebrate. There is always a reason to be happy. There are so many difficulties around us, so many obstacles around us, so many failures around us. But if we learn to celebrate and enjoy the smallest success, then we keep our motivation alive. But sometimes we dream for big things, big success, and it does not happen. Many times we fail. And when we fail, we lose, our spirit, our self-confidence, and so on. Because we are hoping for a big achievement or big success, but when we don't achieve that, then we get frustrated or depressed and so on. But every day we can find one reason to be happy and celebrate. Even when we get the food, it's a celebration. Because so many people have worked in producing that food, not just cook, not our mother or father or wife or husband. Husband hardly go to kitchens, unfortunately. But I sometimes try to go and cook food for my wife, and she cooks for me. But I tell you that when the food is on your plate, the farmers, the landless workers, many other workers who are responsible for growing growing rice, potato, vegetables, fish, meat, whatever. We have to be thankful to them, and we can celebrate that moment with that sense of gratitude. I'm just giving one example, but success, learn to enjoy small successes, smallest possible achievement. Keep your eyes open to feel and see those successes around you, and then enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question. What taught to be strong? What taught you to be strong?
I walk 5 kilometers a day, 5-6 kilometers that I did this morning as well. So when I play with my children in ashram, now I'm in Delhi, but when I'm in ashram, I normally play every day. With my children means my 100 children who stay there. So that is physical thing. We have to do some physical things to become strong. But mental strength is the key. The mental strength is the key. And when you have, I will say another thing. If you can remember, I don't want to, but you to remember so many things. My first thing, which was 3D, dream, discover, and do. And to keep your strength alive, we can learn 3 C's. One C is compassion. We should feel the suffering of others as our own suffering with a drive to change that situation of suffering. And that is compassion. I'm not talking about the golden rule. I'm not talking about the Buddhist or Indian, Hindus, mythological things. But that is inherent inbuilt thing inside each one of us. We can feel the suffering of others and try to elevate that suffering. That is compassion. The second one is courage. We should have courage to solve that situation of suffering of others. So compassion, courage, and my third C would be conviction. Conviction. When you have conviction to do it, then you will feel strong from inside. You keep on discovering new ideas, new things. So you will be free from any disturbance. That will give you strength, inner strength.
Thank you, sir. There is a student, I should salute him because, from the beginning, he was very persistent. His name is Bhagat, intermediate first year, intermediate math since plus one student. So he is going on messaging. So I said, I should see this question. He's asking, what is your first step? What was your first step towards abolishing child labor? Maybe towards starting your work.
I also salute you, Bhagat, for your persistence. And that is a great, great quality. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Yes.
Because so many people, so many issues, so many things are lined up. If you had given up after the second try, then you were not able to talk to me. But we are talking to you as friends. So Bhagat, the first thing was that when I was, after giving up my career, I started working as a journalist. Actually, I started a magazine in Delhi. And one day, a frail, old-looking gentleman knocked on my door. His daughter was born and grew up in slavery, and she was about to be sold to a brothel. This family was working at a brick kiln, and her deal could not be completed. So father ran away and somehow came to me with one expectation that I can publish this story so that government authorities or others can help her. That was in 1981. I want to work for children. I wanted to work for education. I wanted to work for most deprived people. That's clear. But how to work was a big question mark. How to work? Because there's no NGO, no government agency was working directly on this issue of child slavery, child trafficking, child labor, bonded labor, etc. There were several programs, But when we talk of child labor, there was no law in India. The law was old British law, which was not used. The law against child labor, the first law against child labor was enacted only in 1981. I'm just telling this context or this background. So it was, and I'm talking not 81, 1986, the law was enacted in the parliament. I'm talking about 1981. So people had no idea about the old laws. But when this man said this story, I told him that his name was Vasal Khan. I said, Khan, I'm not going to just write. I started feeling that this 15-year-old was like my own sister, and I was 25, 26-year-old. I decided to go to rescue that girl and the entire family. But then I learned that there were 36 men, women, and children enslaved at that brick kiln. We were beaten up, me and my friends. We were thrown away from there. But I did not give up. And that happened in collaboration with the local police. So local police and the landlord did this thing to us. I thought that India is such a great country with great constitution. We have to go to the court. I had faith in judiciary, still have faith in judiciary. So we went to the court, and finally we were able to free physically those 36 children, women, and men. And that was the first rescue of child slaves or child laborers in India by a civic or by civilian effort. And that was documented later on in 1981. The first rescue operation by civic effort has been carried out to free child slaves or child bonded laborers. Under the Bonded Labor Abolition Act, under child labor law was not there, so we used old British laws, some pieces of provisions of other laws. But that was the first incident. And when I freed those children, boys and girls, my very beautiful sister, Sabo, she was jumping on the street in freedom because she had no idea about the roads and cars and anything. So many people she has never seen, and others have not seen. The children were born and grew up there. And that was the moment of truth for me. That was the moment of my own liberation. I felt that I'm freeing myself today. And then since then, I never looked back. So thanks to Sabo, thanks to Vasal Khan, who have given me very clear path of life.
Thank you, sir. I think more than 4 participants, students, especially again, Mona. Mona is also very persistent. What is your happiest moment in life? I think this question has been getting repeated, happiest moment in life.
Happiest moment in life, I tell you, Mona, when young friends like you, or daughters like you, has courage to raise a question directly to someone who is addressing you, is a moment of, is a very, very happy moment. And the happiest moment will come when Mona or any one of you is going to become the Nobel Peace Laureate or any Nobel laureate. I'm still waiting for my happiest moment.
I think, sir, probably, due to the interest of time, though I got a green signal from our office, we can take a liberty of another 5 to 10 minutes. I think I am exceeding that. So I probably, maybe a last question we will take, and we will be done with that. Let me just look for a question. Yes, sir. There is a question from one of the students. Again, I think students are very good at asking questions from our side. How do you convert failures into success?
I've answered this question in different ways, how to convert it. But and nothing is new, actually. There are so many answers and so many, ideas and advices about this question. You can find anywhere. But I tell you that most important thing is that every failure comes as the door to enter into the success. So if you can enter into a place where there is no door, you want to enjoy, living in a house. But when you enter somewhere, then sometimes it can come. So we can learn from obstacles, we can learn from failures, and then the success will come. So, but sometimes when we are confused that what is the failure, what is the success, if we don't get enough marks in schools, we think that we have failed. But that teaches us a lesson, because it's a partial success, and climbing upon that partial success of getting some marks in our class, then we can get more marks in the next year course. So we can learn from that. So somebody said that if you don't succeed, it means you did not do fullest effort. So this time you have to do the fullest efforts. There are so many quotes and saying about this thing, but for me, my success is not really a personal success to get any achievement or money or post or position or anything else. I can never, that is beyond my comprehension. I cannot comprehend. My success lies only when every child is free to be a child. And every time when a child is freed, I think that I have taken the first, another step, new step towards the goal. So the failure did not stop. So I said before that don't give up, try again. I told to Bhagat, and you are also persistent in asking the question. So this persistency matters a lot. Resilience is something, but be truthful, be honest in your things. If you're not honest, if you're not truthful, then the success is also meaningless. If you make the success at the cost of others' failure, it should not be the success. The success should make everyone happy.
So it was quite a long, I think we will take a break, and it's time because we have already 15 minutes overshot the time. So dear participants, let me remind you of today's, again, takeaways. There are 3 takeaways we get from Kailash, today's main speaker. The number 1 is we are all born with something special. Second, discover the power within us and discover the opportunities. And the third point is dream and do. So once again, dream, discover, do. So this is the takeaways we are getting from today. So thank you very much, Satyajiji. So we are so honored, and it is so, you are very practical, and we know your heart lies with the children. That's the reason why yesterday your office has asked us to get as many children as possible. And I understand that your heart always beats with the children. And I also thank our secretary, Sri Ronald Roser, for he's busy, but despite your busy schedule, you have been attending this session 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that shows your commitment, sir, that we are all inspired and we are all encouraged, sir. So thank you very much, Ronald, sir, for your participation. And I also thank my connect from Satyarthi's office. First of all, I should thank Mr. Dhananjay, the Executive Director of BBA, for getting the first connect. And also, of course, to Premaji and Nidhi. Nidhi for the technical support and advice, and Prema for other technicalities. Thank you very much, Premaji and Nidhi and Dhananjay. And I also thank our Joint Secretary, Mrs. Sharada, for taking the initiative and encouraging us to take this program forward. And yeah, I also, at this juncture, I also would like to thank our earlier Secretary, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, IPS, whose idea to have a inspiring talk called Awakening Talk. So thank you very much to sir as well. And thank you very much to all the participants, especially the students. I could see your twinkling eyes, how interestingly you were listening to the main speaker today. Again, we will come back with more eminent personalities with their life and experiences. So thank you very much once again, Kailash-ji. Whenever you come to Hyderabad, please do meet our secretary. As you said, you have promised us meet now. Again, please meet and visit one of our institutions. And I should remark that you are a very good student as well, not only as a good speaker, because you have done your homework well. Because you know our programs like VLCs, MOMG, which, which is something you have done a very good homework. So thank you very much. That shows your interest.
I'm thankful to all of you. But a lot of homework has been done by my colleagues like Harika and Premaji and others.
You know the program more than we do.
Another friend of us who has done another homework. So I can say my last sentence today. Na pillalu mi andarini ninu chala
Wow, that is great. In fact, many of the students were asking, sir, speak one word in Telugu. Then your people have done a good job, sir. Thank you very much. So,
1 minute, George, Mr. George, 1 minute.
Yes.
We are trying to reach our students through Zoom classes and Manavurike Managurukulam program. And our teachers are visiting on Quest program. Our teachers are visiting students' homes also. Personally, they are going and they are teaching and they are clarifying their doubts and their correction work also they are doing. But some problem we have facing, that is our most of the 90% students are first generation students, and the parents are they don't know the value of the education. So because of this reason, the parents are not purchasing the mobile phone, which is very essential in this pandemic situation, because we are taking Zoom classes, but most of the 50% students are unable to attend the Zoom classes. So that teachers are going to visit the students' houses. So this is the time to motivate the parents as well as students. And instead of asking the children to study, they are asking the students to go to field and do work and bring some money. Like that, they are encouraging their words. So this is the time we have to motivate our parents also. So we are doing our level best, sir. Please give a word to all the students and parents. Some parents and teachers also here. Please bless all the students. And secretary sir, all the students are sending messages. Please talk one sentence.
Yes, he has already sent, ma'am. So he wanted to speak maybe on a later date, right, sir? So
do that soon. Tomorrow might be.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It will be great, sir. It will be great, sir. So once again, thank you, Kailash-ji, for sparing your time. It is a great pleasure for all of us. And do visit our schools. And our interventions during COVID has been covered globally and recognized globally. In fact, Harvard University has published a paper, and the Economic Times also given a big coverage about it. World Bank through OECD has also published a paper regarding our COVID time interventions.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.